Well, hello, Divi Nation, and welcome to a brand new Divi use case live stream where each week we show you how to add new design and functionality to your Divi websites. Today, we're going to be showing you how you can add custom or display, post estimated time, reading time, and word count to your Divi blog posts. This will be a great way to show how long your blog posts will take to read right at the top of those blog posts. And it will be added to each and every one of your blog posts by adding it to your Divi post template. So really great stuff. Stick around. Don't forget to check the video description for more info on this use case. Let's go ahead and jump in and get started. All right, so welcome everyone. Please don't hesitate to reach out in the chat and let us know where you're from. Give us a little introduction. I'm over here in Texas, near Houston. My name is Jason, and it is nice to meet you all. Welcome, Lahiru, and let's check us out. Making sure, just give me a thumbs up if you can get if the audio's coming in all right, so I'll know. All right. We're pretty silent here on the chat so far, but I can jump in and keep going and assume that you can hear me okay. Some more are trickling in. If you are just joining us, we're going to be showing you how to add a post estimated reading time to your blog posts. And as you can see on my screen, behind or right here, I'm going to zoom in. You can see the actual finished product here. There's the reading time. Currently, this post is estimated at 4 minutes. And also I added the word count there. This is, of course, not necessary, but this is something you'll see on popular blogs like on Medium, things like that. Just kind of gives the user a heads up on how much content they're going to be reading. Useful, user experience type item there. And it's really simple to add and to your Divi blog post template, and that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, so there's your little sneak peek. All right, looks like I'm getting some thumbs up. Thanks, Marcus. Thanks, Patrick. Susan, welcome. Thanks for letting me know you can hear me. Marcus is from Cleveland, Ohio. Really nice. Grant, thanks for reaching out from New Jersey. Let's see. Salvi from France, Bordeaux. And 147 Dev. All right, I hear you. Javier from Colombia, welcome. Thanks for introducing yourselves, guys. We're going to hit the ground running here in a moment. So really useful for blogs. So if you are a blogger or you do sites or build sites for bloggers, this is going to be a really cool addition that you can add to boost up your design and also functionality, kind of the user experience. And it's really something easy to add without having to add a WordPress plugin. We're going to be using the ReadingTime JavaScript library, which is really easy to access and use and modify, and I'll show you how to do that as we go along. Again, here's the post here, and this is a mock post that I created. If you scroll down, it does have, about 1,000 words. And the way it works is the JavaScript or the code will basically count the words that you have on your post in this section, the post content section of your template. and then it will give an estimate on how much time it will read. I think it's based currently on the reading rate, I believe, of 275 words per minute. The actual, I kind of did some research. I think the actual or the common reading rate or average reading rate for an adult is about 300 words per minute, but I'm sure some of you out there, I don't know if you've ever tested it. If you have, feel free to share on the chat how many words you can read per minute. I actually haven't. I've always been traditionally a slow reader, but so I'm kind of afraid to check. So, but let us know. Might be a fun thing to do today. So currently this is estimated at 4 minutes. Maybe you can test it on your own site when you have time. Here's the library here we're going to be using on, just got this, the link on GitHub. It's actually linked in the blog post article that I included in the chat, in the video chat, the description. So please feel free to visit that. But I'm actually pulling in the JavaScript library through a CDN link here that I got off of CDNJS.com, which is basically a way to pull in that JavaScript library from a CDN hosted elsewhere. That way you don't have to maybe bother putting the JavaScript library on your own Divi theme, child theme, and do it that way, which of course is great if you know how to do that. All right, so let's jump in. I'm going to actually go to the theme builder because we are going to be using or adding this to a Divi post template. That way we can add it to all of the posts on your blog at once. All right, so as you can see, I got a few templates here, but since we're going to be starting from scratch, I'll just go ahead and delete those. And what you're going to want to do is, actually, we're going to go to the Elegant Themes blog, and you're going to go to the, as you can see, this is the article that just went out today that goes along with this use case. So feel free to visit that for additional information, a step-by-step guide in a written form. But I'm going to search business consultant. This is the layout pack we're going to be using just to kind of jumpstart the design of the blog post. And these are one of many free blog post templates that we give away on our blog every week. And this one is for the business consultant layout pack. And so I just go to this link. Of course, it's in the, I think, yes, I included if I didn't include this link in the video chat, I did include a link to the blog post that links to this as well. So you can get to it there. I'm just going to go ahead and get it for free. You just enter your email address and hit subscribe, and you'll get this button popping up there to download the file. And then once you download that file, you'll open it up and get the JSON file you'll need to import to your Divi Theme Builder. So once that file is downloaded, I'm going to go back to my Divi Theme Builder, and I'm going to go to my portability option right up here. That's this button. So I'm going to open that up, and then I'm going to click the import tab, and I'm going to drag that, or I can go ahead and click on and choose the file from my computer, but I'm just going to drag in that template. So the Divi Business Consultant post template, and I'm going to import it. And there you go. So you have that actual template pop up, and you can see that it's automatically going to be assigned to all your posts in or on your theme. So now all we need to do is to edit this template by going to the custom body area and clicking the edit icon. All right. I see some more people popping up in the chat here. Welcome, Rob from Belgium, and Stella. Good to see your audio got straightened out. Stella is actually my daughter's name. Beautiful name. Okay, so let's go and get started on editing our post template. All right, so where to put our reading time and word count is kind of the decision we need to make here. We can put it actually anywhere we want on this template. But I'm just going to put it right here, kind of at the very bottom of this top header section, just before we get into the actual post content. And if you aren't familiar with post templates, this is all dynamic stuff. So this is your dynamic post title that you can design, your meta data here. And this is the actual post content module, which will coincide or basically relate to whatever you put on or when editing the post on the back end, either with your WordPress block editor or the default editor or with Divi. Anything you do on the back end editing your post will show up there. That's the actual content. All right, so I think, so the first thing I'm going to do is add a row right under here, right where this meta content is. So add a new row. It's going to be a full width row. And inside the row, I'm going to add a text module. So, all right, so now that my text module is up and running, I'm going to paste in some HTML. So if you're working with HTML, make sure to put my box over here. Oops, there we go. Make sure and select the text icon instead of the visual icon so that, you know, nothing gets kind of messed up. Sometimes if you switch back and forth with visual and text, you'll mess up that HTML. So keep it in the text tab. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to paste in this HTML, which can be found on the blog post if you need it. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it a bit better, because it looks kind of complicated, right? But it's actually not too complicated once you understand what's going on. The main thing, this is of course a paragraph tag that just kind of comes standard every time you add some new text there. But this is actually reading time text, and this span here is very important because it has a class, and this class is called ETA. And so basically this is going to coincide with the code we're going to be using to basically say anything inside this span tag, which is currently empty, because let me just expand it a bit more. Let me zoom out. Get a better view here of the code. So you can see it all in one line. All right, so if you can see the span tag here is actually empty because there's nothing in between it right here, because that's where your actual reading time estimate, which as you saw in the example in the beginning of the video was 4 minutes. That's where that 4 minutes will show up. And the reason why it knows to do that is because it has that span has a class of ETA. This little style here tag is just to give it a unique color that, if I go back to my original example here, it gives it that orange color there for 4 minutes. That matches the layout. All right, so in the next part here, there's your word count text, but it also has a span tag, which is very important to display the word count, because this span tag, of course, is empty because that's where the word count will be displayed, right in between the span tag. And this class here, word count, is how the code knows to, or the target basically, the target class that lets the code know where to place that word count value. All right, so really just grab the code out of in the blog post, paste it in there, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so let me shrink that back up. And all right, let's style it. So even though this is actually the beauty of Divi, because even though we're going to be adding some dynamic elements in here, like the reading time text and the word count number value, we can actually still style it using the built-in options of the Divi Builder. So we're going to go to the Design tab, and we're going to change the text to match our blog post layout. We'll use the Poppins font, and we'll make it bold. All right, let me move this over, get some more room. And let's make it uppercase. And sorry, I'm going to have to, as you can see, the text is right here. I don't want to hide it from you. Let's see. Okay, and then the text color will make it white. And then the text text size, we'll keep it at 14 pixels on desktop, but let's shrink it a bit on phone down to 12. So 12 pixels on phone display. Give it a little text letter spacing. Let's do 2 pixels. Spread it out a bit more, maybe make it a little easier to read. And let's go back to our desktop display. And we'll center this text alignment right in the center. Looking good. As you can tell, you can't see those elements, the reading time or the word count yet, but you will once the code is in place. All right, so I want this aligned to the bottom. Now I could add some padding above and take out the padding of the section below or do some other things. But one quick and easy way to position that so that it sticks to the bottom there is to simply give it an absolute position. So that's what I'm going to do. Go to my advanced tab of my text settings here, and I'm going to go down to the position option, and I'm going to make it absolute. All right. And I got ahead of myself. I'm going to take that back. I don't want to give the text module absolute because I want to do that to my row. So my fault. Forget I said that. We will be adding the absolute position, not to the text module, but to the row. So sorry about that. We are finished though with our section, our text module settings. So let's go ahead and save those out. Now we'll jump into our row settings. So that would be the row settings containing our reading time text. Open the settings and let's modify the row a bit. I'm gonna go to the design tab. I don't really need any spacing below any of the modules or anything. So I'm gonna set the gutter width to 1. Give it a width of 100%. And I always like to do that, especially if the text is centered, because once you get to mobile, you won't have to worry about, you know, you maximize the amount of horizontal space on mobile as well. Max width of 100. All right, so now we can go to our advanced tab, go to our position, and set it to absolute. Now, by default, it's going to go up to the very top because the absolute position is going to position the element absolutely, but it's going to be restricted to the nearest, container that has a relative position. So in this case, that would be the section. So it's going to jump up to the top of the section. That's because our location is set to top left by default. But if I change that to bottom center, you can see that that now is positioned at the bottom center of our section, which is what we want. All right, we can even do bottom left actually, and it won't change because the row is actually, in fact, I am going to do that because sometimes, if you care, I'll just explain. Sometimes to position things in the center here, absolutely uses the transform option, which might conflict with something maybe you want to do down the road. So if you don't have to do it this way, don't center it, just keep it at the left side. And since it has, that row has 100% width, it won't matter. All right, so let's go ahead and add the code. We're finished with our row. It's sitting nicely right at the bottom of our section. And make sure this section does have enough padding. Because it's centered absolutely, it will overlap. It's not taking up any actual space on the document, so it will overlap other things if you're not careful. So make sure your, for example, your section, this section has, enough, that's my spacing there, enough padding, so it's not going to overlap anything. All right, so now it's time to add our code. We can add it using our code module. I'm just going to add a new code module here. As you can see, I can't really click to add a new module. It's a perfect time to deploy my layers view, which I always have open anyway. I'm just going to go here and go to this layer. That's going to pop up in my layers view. And there's that text module holding our reading time element. I'm going to add a new module right underneath my text module, and I'm going to add a code module. And that's where we're going to add our custom JavaScript code. So I'll make it nice and large so we can see what's going on here. The first thing you'll want to do is make sure and include any JavaScript that you add to an HTML page, like here, like on the page itself, is to wrap it in a script tag. So make sure you do that. And then inside that script tag, I'm just going to paste. Might be helpful to zoom in on this one for you. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. Nope. My zoom's not working. There we go. All right, let me paste the code, which you can get from the blog post. And there it is. So a few things about the code real quick. So this first line of code, if you don't know much or anything about JavaScript, don't worry. If you just paste this in, it will work fine. You don't need to actually do anything to it. But if you are interested in modifying some things, here's a little quick overview of what's going on here. This right here is a class that Divi uses behind the scenes. And it's the class attached to the div or to the post content area. So if we go to our post, let's say here's our post on the front end. All this area here is going to be the post generated in our post content module. There's actually the class associated with that. So basically it's saying I'm targeting that class so that I can dictate or actually calculate the words inside that element, like the number of words on your blog post, as opposed to like if I change that to the body, like the body of the page, that would count all the words everywhere, including these, maybe the words in the maybe not the heading, but all the words here and below in the comments, and that's not what you want. You just want to calculate the words on the actual post content, and that's what that's doing there. It's saying it's limiting it to the post content. This next line of code is basically saying this is your reading time target, which if you remember in that HTML you pasted in the text module, that span had a class called ETA, and that's what this is. It's saying your reading time target, this JavaScript library is saying basically the reading time target is the class, has the class ETA. So that tells the code is now going to display that reading time already calculated in that spot in the text module in that span tag with the class ETA. All right, next one. Hope that makes sense. All right, so the next one is the word count target. Same thing. It's just saying, whatever span or whatever element has the word count class, it's going to display that word count inside that element. And here's where you can change the words per minute, and right now it's calculating, or it's estimating 275 words per minute. That's how it generates the reading time estimate. So if you want to change that, maybe you have a blog post, or maybe you have a blog with readers that read really fast, maybe you can bump it up to something else. This is where you can change the language. And that's because on the final result, you can see it says 4 minutes. The minutes is actually in English. I'm sure if you can change that to some other language, you can do that by putting in like FR for French or something like that. On that note, if you want more information, I think if you go to the GitHub page with the Reading Time JavaScript library, it has some documentation there that kind of explains some of those elements for you. Here are the options, for example. So feel free to visit that. All right, I hope that wasn't too complicated or boring. Hopefully it was helpful. But that's it. Real small snippet of code, and we're ready to go. The elements are in place, and the text is already designed using the Divi Builder. And one last thing we'll need to do, though, is I'm going to save this out, because what we need to do is add pull in that reading time JavaScript library, which we haven't done. We've added the JavaScript needed to, to calculate the reading time and display it and all that. But we still need that JavaScript library so that it knows what to do. You could add the library in the code module there, but I think it's better to just go ahead and add it to the header of your blog, of actually your theme. To do that, we'll go to, I'm going to save this out. Make sure you save it and exit. I'm going to save my changes here. And then I'm going to go to my theme options, Divi theme options, and go to integration tab. And right there in the head of our blog here, I'm going to add a script tag, and I'm going to paste in our source. Actually, I got to include it in that first script there. All right. Oh, actually, just going to, for ease of time, I don't want to make any mistakes here. I'm just going to copy and paste it in there. Okay. So there it is. The script tag, basically it's pulling in that CDN version of the reading time JavaScript. And once that's in there, that library is now accessible to your site, and everything should work wonderfully. Let's go back to our theme builder. And actually, everything's done here. Only thing we really need to do is pull up a live post here. I'm just going to refresh it. And there we go. It's displayed nicely at the top of our blog post. There's our reading time, which is estimated at 4 minutes. If I were to go to, let's say, another blog post, this one has a different word count, but also estimated around 4 minutes. I can go to another one. These are all just mock blog posts. This one is reading estimate 7 minutes. That's a longer one. So as you can see, it will work on all your blog posts, which is really cool addition if you want it. I've been ignoring you in the chat, so I'm going to jump over and see if you have any questions. Stella says that she loves the layers view and uses it all the time now. Me too. It's wonderful to have. It just keeps things in view. It's basically the best of both worlds between, instead of having the toggle to wireframe view and the visual builder, you can have the best of both worlds because your layers view is basically a wireframe view that's always in sight. Completely agree. All right. All right. Actually, I don't seem to have that many questions. I know it was a pretty straightforward tutorial. So I hope that's a good thing. Feel free to, again, go check out the blog post that relates to this use case and for more information, and hopefully it comes in handy on your next project. All right, that's all I got for you this week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Please don't forget to subscribe to our blog newsletter, our YouTube channel, and like us on Facebook. And make sure to click to get those notifications so we can let you know every single time we have something new for you. And you'll want to check back here next Tuesday for another Divi use case live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern. And actually this Friday, we're going to have another live stream, the weekly the weekly WP roundup. I think I got that right. And that's also at 3 p.m. So check that out. And you can also check our blog post and the chat description for more information on how you can actually contribute your own unique information or expertise to our Elegant Themes blog. So if you're interested, check that out. Thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye, guys.